Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hightop Sports. Probably want to show why you wearing a cowboy hat inside. Well, one, giddy up as always, and second of all, Gators are 1-0 since I put this bad boy on, and third of all, yesterday was probably one of the most iconic and best days in Hightop Sports history, my boy. Okay, I'm talking from all the guys. I'm talking Stephen Harris, myself, the prof, Swolder. We had a fantastic weekend. The Hightop gang grew closer together, which was fantastic. Not only from the boys' perspective, but from everybody that's close to this thing. The ones that have been following this from day one, getting to meet all of you, seeing your faces was fantastic. We're going to talk all about that. That's going to be towards the end of the show. Then, spoiler, I can confirm Billy watches the show, and we're going to talk all about it. I'm fired up. Spoke with his brother, Kurt. Awesome conversation there. There were so many great things that happened in 24 hours. It's unreal what was unpacked in just 24 hours. But we've got to talk spring game. We got to talk DJ Lagway coming back and returning and being 100% like we told you. Nothing fishy going on. How they're managing the NIL. How Florida Victorious is really just finding a rhythm right now. I'm pumped to have today's show. So smash the like button, subscribe, and of course, shout out to Foco. I reached out, I was like, Foco, we need a lifetime deal. The amount of Foco overalls that I saw yesterday, just walking around, the fact that Foco got a picture with head coach Billy Napier. Foco, hey, overalls for everybody, okay? We also just surpassed 25,000. I was on the sidelines yesterday with Stephen Harris. So you're on the sidelines? I know. Crazy. We'll talk about it. But yes, I was on the sidelines during the spring game. They probably shouldn't let me be there. But anyways, I was there, and we hit 25,000. So the day was just, it just didn't feel real. But it was, and now we're here. And I'm going to thank everybody because it was just so good. But let's dive into the show. Let's have a banger. First order of business, of course, is going to be talking about DJ Lagway. Now, I thought I was going to have breaking news. I spoke with someone on the sidelines yesterday, talked about his situation. And he informed me that, hey, the Lagway thing, he's like, he's good. Little tweak, not a big deal. And I go, hey, is it serious? Like, where are we at? They said, listen, these things are common. He should be back. He's 90% right now. He'll be good in a couple of weeks. This was before the presser. So I was like, I'm coming in hot and heavy on Sunday, baby. I was like, we got all the inside scoops. And then Napier goes on his presser, must have heard about the conversation and said, no. We love you, Hightop, but we're going to break it first. As they should. I probably would have felt weird talking about it anyways, because you know how that stuff goes. You don't want to be over the top with it. But people felt we've been gaslighting this situation. This entire time we have kind of carried our own accord about it, and we've just asked people closer than we are to the situation and simply have just given you that information. People still didn't want to believe it. But yesterday, here's what Napier had to say. He'll start throwing here in a couple of weeks. In general, very positive there. The lower body stuff is good. Obviously, he had the knee stuff, and he's kind of getting in position for the next step. But in general, there's a lot of positives. Everything is on schedule. And then he said, will he be fully ready for preseason camp? He said, oh, yeah. When we start organized team activities in June, he'll be 100%, and he'll start throwing in a couple of weeks. So we've got now about a month and a half of probably just like a lull area. So hopefully we get some recruiting talk. We'll have Corey Bender on. This show is going to be insane over the next couple of days. Some incredible guests we've got lined up for Monday, Wednesday, possibly some more. Corey, it's going to be good. So you want to smash the like button and subscribe, turn that bell on because you don't want to miss it. It's going to be fantastic. But love hearing that DJ is back, especially with all the quarterback drama that's happening with Tennessee. We spoke about that yesterday with Uncle Lou. That was an awesome conversation. If you didn't see that, we'll probably talk about it some more. We're going to have a show tonight, kind of get back into that Sunday routine with Tyler and the gang and then Cody and talk all things college football. It was a really good time doing that show. So we'll talk more about that and how it's impacting college football. But just love seeing the fact that DJ he looked fantastic yesterday. Had a chance to hit him. Cody and his kid got his autograph. He looked good. He handed the ball off well, got some good reps in there. And again, we're going to talk about the spring game as a whole and how both quarterbacks performed. But he even gave us a little pump fake. Cam Parker does not have to do smelling salts because the over-under for half a throw, meaning he just needed to throw one, was not there. I was talking to, I think it was Chris Doring when I was on the sidelines, and I think he was even saying, man, I would love to see him just sling it. And I think Johnny Townsend said the same thing. Everybody wanted to see him just sling one. Just the place would have erupted. And I got to tell you, man, yesterday, this fan base is fantastic in so many ways. I'll tell you on a personal level here towards the end of the show, but 60,000 strong showed up on a Saturday for a practice. Now, obviously, a lot had to do with the celebration for the basketball team, which was incredible in itself. The boys need a parade. I don't know why they're not doing a parade, but they need a parade. But nonetheless, they all showed out. It was fantastic. And most importantly, when you see kind of all the drama that's happening with college football, it's good to hear that Florida that DJ is back on schedule and should be good to go here in June. And look, that's where you want to kind of get things going. And look, and I'll talk about it. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the spring game. And when I got there and I saw some things, and look, kind of glad the guys that got to throw the ball did. You may not like that opinion, but that's my take on it, and I'm sticking to it. So that is your update on DJ Lagway. Great stuff there. Now let's talk about Billy Napier and how he's been managing this NIL. Two big points here that they spoke about. They've reached an agreement on 98% of the team. I think we're just 1 or 2 players away from being done as far as the player retention part. In the presser, what Billy said. Shout out to Zach. I'm already putting this thing together, and got to meet Zach yesterday as well too. Again, these are all their quotes from the presser yesterday. But the biggest thing is I love that this was brought up given the circumstances that we saw with the Nico, I'm gonna leave Tennessee here in a couple of days situation unfold. So 98%, we know that Gregory Smith left. So there's still some things that need to obviously get worked out, but probably not the biggest stress. So here's what I love. Billy Napier said, I would tell you a lot of my job is to be decided. I think for the first 18 months, we've heard him say this before. I was sitting around for somebody to tell me what to do. Like, what are the rules? And it's kind of just got to a point where it's like, screw that. We're coming up with our own rules, our own system. We're not waiting on anybody to tell us what to do. We're just going to be aggressive and do what we think is best. We've done that. We've created a great system. I'm very thankful for Florida Victorious. Here's why this is massive. And I'm going to kind of compact this in as a whole here. I've been following, you guys know how long this show's been rock and rolling. I came in to this, and I think I came in at a fantastic time when NIL was just getting started. And I think the NIL era allowed for this channel to have a lot of success. I was able to meet the right people, connect with the right people, Jen and Eddie, who started the Gator Collective, and it allowed for me to be in conversations and be at places that I probably shouldn't have been. But because the wild, wild westness of the NIL, I was able to squeak my way in and have great conversations and allow for this thing to become what it has. And now we're a little more stable, right? So I've seen what it was. I've seen where it was, where it is, and where it's going. There we go. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really cool. And we've talked about how, hey, where's the support? Where's the cohesion, right? Why don't we hear about Napier and these guys talk about Florida Victorious and NIL more? Why isn't there a kind of a working together progress? And I think, like he just said, I don't know what the rules were. I wasn't sure how to go about this. And some people may not like that. I like the vulnerability. I like the fact that he goes, hey, we were kind of a little, behind the 8 ball, but something's clicked. I saw it. I again, going to the last 3 spring games, going to these events over the last couple of years, they've always been it's just organized chaos. And I don't know what to expect. So it's never been a negative thing to me because I don't know what am I looking for. Now that I'm the third year and going into this, I'm looking at this going, whoa, this thing is like a well-oiled machine. This is like Ford Motor Company. Henry Ford has just got this thing and just churning and burning. The Florida Victorious events, the way that they're ran, they are just to a T. Boom, boom, boom. Everything is well connected, well flowed. It's just on to the next thing, just this revenue generating monster. And just how it all is coming together and hearing him talk about it. He's not just saying it, he genuinely, truly feel it and believes that. And again, I think how he's recruiting, how their relationship with Florida Victorious has evolved, how the money is being contributed is allowing for them to focus on what's important, that's playing football. It's not, they don't have to worry about the nonsense and signing contracts here and there and battling this and this because they're going after a certain type of personality. They realize pretty quickly if you're being a drama kid early on for money and the NIL thing, that's probably going to last. I don't need to see that anymore. So let's not work with this. This kid's got a lot of talent, but it's going to be more of a headache than what it's worth. And we've seen these things now kind of unfold of like we kind of dodged a bullet. Now, we're not perfect. We still have a few. And I don't think that the Gregory Smith situation was that. I think it was more of a playing time thing. So even with him leaving, I don't see it as an issue. And look, you're always going to have guys play it and play the game and do what they need to do to get them more money. And that's just part of it. We did obviously saw it with the Pie Burn and those guys and things like that. So there's still those few out there, but I think the core group are bought in and truly believe and understand who they're playing for and what they're playing for. And this also correlates to how the spring practice was ran too, which we'll get into. I kind of want to save that into its own little bucket there, but loved hearing that. Again, I loved their his vulnerability. Haas said their leadership, how they've enabled us to acquire talent, the resources that we have, the investors that we have, and the roster that we've been able to put together is a result of that. Now we're building systematically to continue that part of what we do. I think you spend all your day looking around at what everybody else is doing. It's a waste of time. We got our own system. We use our own analytics. We have our own algorithms built, and we are aggressive in what we think is the best for the team. And we got great personnel. Very thankful for their front office people we hired, Nick Polk and Ben Elsner. And I think Jacob LaFrance and Chad Lucas have done a good job. Remember, these are hires that they've kind of come and go. The GM of football, the front end coordinator, the numbers, these names that we talked about because it was during the slow season that were brought in. And I kind of alluded to, like, these are big hires. You probably won't ever hear about it. You're never going to see it because they're behind the scene guys, and these guys know that they're the Robins and the ones that understand that your name's not going to be on the lights, but you are a huge asset to this. So you see it, and I'm going to be one to pull it out because we're critical of it too. So you got to make sure you give love when you see that wheel running in a nice healthy way. So love seeing that, boys and girls. Again, boys, good to see you. Happy to have you here. Let's keep the show rolling. Let's talk about the spring practice, man. And shout out to these are shots from Alex Shepard, man. Got to finally meet Alex. I met him before, but it was kind of like in passing. It was like I knew who he was, but didn't know who he was. But now, like, we've kind of, I would say, cross paths on X a little bit more because I love his photos. And so when I saw him, I was like, yo, your work's incredible. And it was cool just seeing these guys who you've seen their work. He took some sweet photos of me and Clifford and of Stephen Harris. Beyond grateful, beyond blessed to have that opportunity. But this man needs all the love and all the support he can get. He is a monster with that lens. Just watching him run around to get these shots was just so. A lot of these guys, Dylan All saw Dylan All too, Zach Alberverdi. I love these guys, man. Like, I see these. It's cool because we all work. We're all doing the same thing, and we're always talking through a lens. To see someone and be able to hug them and appreciate what they do, man, it's really cool. So shout out to Alex, man, for these incredible shots from the spring game. I know you guys wanted to see it. We went live. The quality was kind of doo-doo. Didn't have much Wi-Fi. There's some great shots on the Florida's football team Twitter page. We'll probably be breaking down some of that stuff with Stephen Harris on Monday. Would love to do that with them because I was trying to slow it down and look at some defensive lines, some O-line things of how they looked. But let's talk about it. Let's get into the numbers. I'll give you those things, kind of the big takeaways, and then me and Cody got together. We kind of talked about it because we'll have Steven on tomorrow. We'll have Dave on Wednesday to kind of give their perspective of it, of what we all saw. We all watched from different angles. We all look for different things. So kind of a bunch of great perspectives. First big order of things, right? When you look at passing, you've got Harrison Bailey, 29 for 43 for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you're like, oh God, this kid's slinging it. And he did. He looked fantastic. Loved the way they looked, had a great composure in the pocket. They were throwing the ball a lot. The orange team was down very quickly because the blue team was firing all cylinders. And blue team, mind you, was the one squad. Warner went 10 for 23 for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you're like, yeah, this 8-year-old kid ain't got it. I got to tell you, man, that kid can spin it. And I know we kind of joke around, but he's got a great arm. His presence was much, much better. And it wasn't that it was bad before, but I spoke also with someone else who's his quarterback coach who we're going to have on sometime here in the next week. I kind of was, hey, man, like, what do you think? What was the struggles? He's like, look, this kid's come from here to here, man. And he's the kid got a great arm and just needs some more time. And think about it. You got Tramel Jones. You got Harrison Bailey. These guys were all brought in. Aiden Warner is essentially beating those guys out. The fact that he's in the one squad, the 1 seed right now. He looked fantastic yesterday. And I was talking to his coach. I said, look, man, he gives me very Mertz vibes. And he goes, you know what? He kind of does. I go, with a better arm. He goes, yeah, he kind of is. And what I mean by that is his composure, his posture in the pocket, just his ability to feel the game. He looked very cool, looked very calm. Look, we all love Mertz. Mertz had his ups and his downs, but Mertz carried himself like a pro. That's what I loved about Mertz. Just a very cool, calm, collected quarterback, but sometimes can kind of get in his own head and make some mistakes and some hiccups. Aiden Warner never really seemed to, the guy had the memory of a goldfish. Looked unfazed out there. I love seeing it. A lot of drop passes for him. Part of were those. A lot of great play calls, in my opinion. Some were overthrown. Some were a little bit short. But I like where they were. The guys were there. And look, also 2 DBs were kind of locking these guys down. They weren't giving Aiden much of a pocket to throw into. Harrison, mind you, was slinging on the second defense, the younger defense, that had their way with him early. They were kind of giving him some fits early on, and then he got going. But yeah, and we'll get into that second part here in just a minute. But Aiden Warner looked very, very feasible. Now, I say this to tell you because obviously we know DJ Lagway is going to be fine and be rocking and rolling. I was also talking to the quarterback coach. I said, look, man, I know you've been around this team. You've coached a lot of these kids that have come through this or been around this program. I think this, and I talked to Johnny Townsend too. I said, look, I think this quarterback room is in a better place than it was last year, just given the experience that's there. And the upside obviously is much more than what it was. So if DJ comes in there and slings it, you're going to feel really good about it. And here's the thing. A lot of the throws that were missed, you got to think, okay, DJ's going to hit those throws. These guys had all day to throw. had all day. They had some great blitz packages. I think there's about 2 or 3 sacks from what I remember. It's hard because it's two-hand touch, so sometimes they roll out and they'll call a play a little bit early, so it's hard to get a full gauge on those things. But Aiden Warner threw a great ball. Harrison Bailey's kind of when he started finding his rhythm, by golly, he found his rhythm. And for 363 yards, 200 of those were to Dolly Wally, Dallin Wilson. Dallin Wilson and Ben Hanks were in an absolute war yesterday. I was right there. I saw a couple touchdowns at the corner. It was so fun. We're sitting there saving Harris, like, all right, throw it to Dallas, throw it to Dallas. And they were intentionally throwing, like they were trying to get that offense going very quickly. Where on the one squad, they were in the kind of more of that old fashioned. I don't remember who was calling what, because I know Callaway and O'Hara, they were your offensive coordinators. It's going to be interesting because the way that both offenses ran, the blue squad ran how we typically run it, where we're just going to push it down your throat. We're going to run it down your neck and throw when we need to. And they were able to run with ease because Jacoby Jackson had 200 yards, 10 attempts, and 3 touchdowns. Now, he had one kind of like a little bit of a squeaky one where he spun out of a sloppy tackling and broke out. So that was about 80 of it right there. But him and Jaden Ball had themselves a day. And they were just good, healthy runs, great blocks across the board. Wide receivers were blocking, Suderman was blocking. The offensive line, it was one of the cleanest pockets that I've seen. Last year, going back to, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's just how these games go. I'm trying to remember everything that I saw. Last year, it was a sluggish start. It was slow. The game was 10-13. You just didn't feel like things were kind of clicking. And I chalk it up to being a spring game. I chalk it up to a multitude of things. Speaking to how the rotation of things, how everything was running yesterday in regards to the NIL, just the flow of the day, the game was ran and managed at a different level. When we watched Florida football, I remember last year, a bunch of times you watch the Florida game, and then you go and watch like the LSU and Bam and these other teams, you're like, man, these guys, you could just see the difference on the football field. Now, Florida, I feel like kind of elevated that towards the end of the year, but early on, we didn't have it. And what we saw in the spring game, now going back, you saw kind of those things translate. This thing from the get-go, from Jump Street, Aiden Warner gets the ball and drives on the football field first play of the game. That's not, out of all the spring games I've been to, we haven't done that. We have not looked that efficient. And we had Graham Mertz back there at that time. A lot of it has to do with this line, man. He is in his bag right now, bag of tricks, him being Billy Napier, because both quarterbacks had time. Both quarterbacks look calm. They felt good. And you're going to argue, Sean, it's practice. They're not. No, these boys are coming in there hot. Look, they're not going to get hit. But they were blitzing. LJ McCray got himself a sack, I think, on Aiden Warner. Great call off the edge. So, again, it's practice. You can't put a lot of weight. My thing, though, is all that considered. Let's say it is practice. Let's say they're not playing at 100%. That's fine. I'm comparing them to the last 2 spring games. And there was a massive jump of just everything clicking. The talent on the field was at another level. Everywhere you looked, there wasn't necessarily a dry spot, a dry spot or a down spot, if you will, which was very refreshing. Another thing, man. Again, being on the sidelines, I was a little bit closer to these guys than I've ever been, but I've been on the close to the wall. These young men are massive. I mean, by golly, Studervant, Dallas Wilson, Banks. I saw Fletcher Westphal dabbed him up. He looking like an absolute unit right now. At another level, man. It was crazy. I was a little dwarf out there. It was wild, and I loved every bit of it. Just seeing how big these guys were and how physical they were. Miles Graham looked like an absolute beast as well. Loved it. Cormani McClain looked the role. He looked much bigger. Again, the young guys, Ben Hanks and Dallas Wilson. Dallas Wilson, man, I told the quarterback coach, Aiden Warner, I said, look, man, he's getting a lot of Jeremiah Smith comps, and he thought I was crazy. I said, look, man, we talked about this too on yesterday. I said, who's going to be the breakout guy today? Jaden Ball was last year. Dallas Wilson was what Jaden Ball was last year, and then some. His running routes ability, he had one pass breakup with Ben Hanks. Great defense, loved a little one-on-one. It was a bad throw, not a horrible throw, not a great throw. Dallas Wilson's a guy, let him go get it. He gave Ben Hanks an opportunity, and Ben Hanks took advantage of it. So I love that it was like a perfect little bit of a gamemanship, but Dallas was trying to get in there. Ben Hanks kind of out-muscled him. Ball's 4 inches, 5 inches higher, and a little more ass behind it. Dai Wallace got it to touchdown. It was a little corner throw early on in the game, but they went right back to him and got it to him again. I loved a lot of 4 wides, a lot of corner plays. They were having their way with it. Somebody say, hey, it was the defense, but it just was a very clean football. They were just And again, in these games, usually defense has success because they're kind of running around. The offense is clicking. Not the case in this either. The offense was in a rhythm on both sides. The Orange took a little bit. The Harrison Bailey team took a little bit, and then it kind of got into a little bit of a fun little game. A lot of great passes, things like that. Also, too, man, I know this is kind of crazy, but their punter from Michigan, kid's got a leg, bro. Kid has a cannon. Punters are people too. Shaw Crawshaw, let him know. Punters are people too. Kid has a cannon for a leg. I was sitting next to Johnny Townsend when he booted one. He's like, dude, that kid's got a monster of a leg. I mean, I think it was like a 60-yard punt with hang time. I tied my shoes and I got boots on. But the time that it was up in the air, even Harris like, holy, that thing was up there. Like nobody was taking it back. Everybody was sitting there waiting for the ball to come down, and it was a 60-yard boot. I mean, it was nuts. I can tell lies because you weren't there to see it, but I can tell you he punted at 8 yards if I wanted to. But it was a fantastic punt back in his own end zone and was able to flip the field very healthily with that. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Again, the running backs had a day as we thought they would. They looked good. We didn't talk much about the trenches because that's how good the O-line was. You were able to see the talent on the field from the wide receiver perspective, and those guys do things. The quarterback, the pocket was very clean. We heard a lot last year, muddy pocket, muddy pocket. That was a common theme from Napier in these pressers. Like, yeah, we had a muddy pocket, didn't give those guys much time. Mertz didn't have much time last year. Loved every minute of it. Bryce Lovett, I think he won an award for best offensive lineman through this spring camp, which we know Bryce Lovett stepping into that right tackle position. That's got to make you feel good with someone like a Jake Slaughter and Austin Barber as well. Najee Harris, he didn't play. I saw him. He had a little boot on. I said, hey, what's good? He's like, no, it's good. This is just precautionary. He's like, just a little sprain. So he was fine, though. Dapped him up. It was good to see him. Also, Nashawn Montgomery, he was great. He looked fantastic. He was having himself a day. Then I don't know if he got hit or what happened, but he ran by, he rolled up his wrist, I think, and I was a little nervous because Napier was talking to him when they were walking off the field. Then he came back with ice on it, and then he had a little like sprain thing on it during autographs. Cody told me. I don't think it's serious because the fact that he came back out with ice on it like very quickly afterwards, I think maybe just jammed it or rolled up on it. But if there's a room we could take a beat, it's in that room. Vernell Brown was looking good. I mean, we knew what we had, but seeing it and confirming it was what was exciting for me. Again, the secondaries, those DBs, Ben Hanks, Lagonza Hayward, Stubbs, they looked the part, boys. They looked the part. I'm really excited to see how those things are going to go. Didn't see much tackling. There was a big hit. Aaron Childs leveled Abrams. Abrams had a little of a rough day, kind of expressed his feelings on Twitter after the fact. But all in all, it was by far the best spring game. And I mean, obviously a little bias there, but best spring game in just how things were rolling. It was very well organized. It didn't seem like there was like questions of who was doing what. I mean, everything was just firing all cylinders. Again, from what I could tell, we'll have multiple perspectives. Everyone will have their thought opinion. You know, I'm always a little more optimistic, but I was very ecstatic with how things went and looking forward to, more things coming out from this spring camp. And I can't wait for this season. I mean, I couldn't wait before, and again, I want to reiterate, I know people were upset that it wasn't on TV and that DJ wasn't playing. And I want DJ to get the practice reps, but I loved seeing those guys because that's a big component that if DJ was to go down, like I don't want to feel completely the season is lost. That's how I felt yesterday. I was like, this team excites me and DJ's not even playing. I was like, this team can go and hold its own more than the last two teams that I saw the last 2 years. And I know it seems crazy because they're playing each other, but I'm telling you, I have watched the last 3 spring games. I've watched, I mean, more than that, but in the Napier era, this was the cleanest, most precise, most sound spring game I have seen. By far. By far. Now, where does that compare to everybody else? I don't know. I don't have that comparison. Nothing was on TV. From what I've seen, from the progress of Billy Napier, from the progress of certain position groups, night and day. Night and day. And I'm not pumping smoke. Good thing is, there's not many people that were there to just argue with me. No, I'm just kidding. There's plenty of people. You can ask. Look, maybe there's different perspectives. There's going to be plenty of different perspectives. But I felt very positive after that game. I got to tell you. All right. Let's get into our next little bit here of conversations. This wasn't supposed to be here. All right, let's talk about the day, man. Let's talk about the weekend. It was incredible. I'm going to try to remember names and tell thank you to everybody because It was a weekend that I will cherish and remember forever. The amount of cool people that we met, the fans, and the people that appreciated this show. And for me, people come up to me and say thanks, like thank you for the show. And I try to like I don't know if they know, but I tell them thank you because it means the world to me. Like for you to come up and say how much you appreciate it, in a weird, it's very humbling that you guys feel comfortable enough to come and say hi, like we know each other, because we do this, and it was cool to put a face with avatars and things like that, and see people that I've seen before as well. And again, Mark Scott and the Scott family, I'll talk about them because they were awesome too. Like the best part about what brings all this together, like we're all here hanging out, just having the best time, is the orange and blue. Like we know that, we know how special it is, and that there, I got guys hugging, just so happy, like because it's like almost like we're fine, like we understand, like there's someone else that understands me, there's someone else that gets the way that I feel, and so it's cool to see all that and the appreciation for it. Shout out to the boys for this sign, that was absolutely incredible. Shout out to Stephen Harris. I'm in debt for life because as I mentioned, he got me on the sidelines, which was a dream. I was like, I kept asking, I was like, what can I was like, what do I do with my hands? I don't want to ruin this. I don't want to mess this up. He's like, yeah, dude, cool, man. Just stream it, have fun, no big deal. And I almost got in trouble when I got the video with Todd Golden and Steve had to step in. But other than that, I was good. Nobody said anything to me. It was actually a very warm welcome. It was really, really cool. Billy's brother was fantastic. He was awesome. We spoke for about 20 minutes, talked about a lot of things. That was the fact that he sat there. He said, "Hey man, you guys have some great stuff. I appreciate you." We chit chatted, got to know him a little bit. Spoke to other people that work on staff. They came up and said, "Hey, we love your stuff." Like that was wild to me. Um, the people that were just wanting to get pictures and say hi, loved it. Cool little story from the Scots. I said, "Hey, it's always cool to say how they found us." What's cool is we know Mark and his mom. We love them, but his wife. I don't know if I don't want to say her name. I don't know if she's trying to say incognito because her name. She's Mark's burner account on Twitter, so we'll leave it at that. She knows who we're talking about, but she said that she watched us. She'd watch us for like a year, but she would be kind of in her little world with her headphones on. Mark's over there screaming, doing other things, right? Probably lifting kegels and push-ups and whatnot, eating oatmeal. But one of her headphones died one night, and he heard kind of us chirping. He said, "What are you watching?" And she said, "Hightop Boys." And obviously now it's become what it is. But it's just cool hearing how different people follow the show, and it was really cool to hang out with them on Friday night. And they came, they're all overall up, so I love that. I appreciate them being there. Met a family on the field. Want to give them a shout out. I don't remember their names, but the daughter was like, "Hey, my dad loves you. He's like one of your lovers. Like he watches you all the time." I was like, "I love it." And then the wife comes over. She's like, "Yeah, he watches you in the bathroom." I go, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Yeah, we're all in the bathroom just watching you." I go, "This is incredible. Like we're in the family." And then I was like, "Look, we took a picture." I was like, "I need you printed out and framed in the bathroom." So I expect to see that at some point in the bathroom. I want a group photo of y'all in the bathroom watching with that in there as well. Shout out to Riker, little man, Hathcock, Swamp Donkey. Got to meet them. Travis bringing us a sweet tarts. My good luck sweet tarts. I gotta get those out of my truck. Uh, dude, there's so many cool people. Shout out to Brian from Alma Mater, allowing us to be there on Friday, allowing us to giving us the ability to have the merch. There's so many more people that I met at the game. Lane Chains as well. Ah man, I feel like an a-hole for the people I met. Cliff and his mom Suzanne. I believe her name was Suzanne. Sweet lady. She was excited to see me. Ashton G. Somebody who's been in the Discord got to meet her. That was really cool. Look, I feel bad that I forget, man. It kind of went by and it was all a blur. There were so many cool moments too that I'll appreciate and cherish forever. And I really thank everybody that came by and said hey and showed their love and appreciation. Again, shout out to Cody, driving all the way down, and Tiff and Mylan and Elsie and those guys. I mean, they made a massive trip and they got to have a day of their lifetime as well too. So that was cool. And then, of course our guy Swolder, always getting us in, plugging us in, and making these connections happen. And I know he had a day too. So it was a dream, guys. I got to tell you, we were spoiled. I had some guys were like, "Man, you're so lucky to be on the field." I was like, "You're telling me, bro. You're telling me." I'm just a fan, just like the rest of us. So I had to pinch myself and realize where I was and what I was doing. It was surreal to say the least. So I feel like I'm forgetting some people, and it's making me very upset that I can't remember all the stories. Couple of guys, there was like a group of guys that kind of came up to me and gave us hugs and said, "MJ," there you go. MJ was another one guy. He's yoked. He was good to see. Gosh, I can't. There's a guy that met us at the tailgate. I can't remember his name, but he'll know that I was talking about him because when he looked over to me, this man hugged me so like I baptized this man. Like he didn't want to let me go. And it was like the most incredible feeling of like it's like we've known each other forever. Like that's the cool part. It just like the love and appreciation they have was through the roof. Desmond from the tailgate. I can't remember his company. He works in Gainesville. He feeds the boys. That's all y'all need to know. He feeds the boys. He was pumped to see us. Former player. He was excited to see us, which was crazy. A player excited to see us, pumped to see the prof do the truffle shuffle. So that was really cool too. But look, I'm kind of rambling, but all that was fantastic, to say the least. So I appreciate y'all. But best is yet to come, boy. So here you have it. We've got the photo of a lifetime right here. Now the photo gets much cooler than just the photo itself. So I'm on the field. Everyone's getting ready to come on there and do the autographs. And in my head, I just took a photo with his brother. And he comes walking in and nobody's really around him. And I'm not gonna get in line and get autographs. I don't want to take away from like everyone else is there for that. Like that's them. But my mentality is like when in Rome, you got to take your shot. And he was kind of by himself, like there's nobody around him. And he was walking towards his station. And he was kind of dapping people up, so I could tell he was kind of open to it. And I was like, I'm just gonna walk up and say, hey coach, I got a picture with your brother. It's cool if I get one with you. That was gonna be my line, right? To just make it kind of quick and easy. These guys are busy. I understand that. I'm not trying to take any of the time. I go, hey coach. He turns and he goes, hey Shelton, man, I appreciate you everything you do, Bubba. Thank you, man. Go Gators. Shambles, boys. Shambles. I appreciate it, coach. And then I just went with my line. I go, hey, you go. I don't even know what I said. I asked for a picture. I got the picture. And then he goes, hey, man, I just want to say I really appreciate what you guys do. You guys are awesome. You make great work. Thank you so much. I was like, hey, man, have a great year. Like, I'm going to cry. I was like, please just win, Billy. Please just win. And then I walked away in complete shambles because that was incredible. So we have confirmed they watched the show, which it's kind of sucks now because it was always a fun, like, running joke. And now it's real. So what are we going to joke about now? It gets better, though, because Cody gets in a line to get autographed with Napier. And he hands him his gear. And he goes, hey, coach, I'm on Hightop Sport. He goes, yeah. He looks up. He goes, oh, yeah, the professor, right? He goes, like, you guys are doing it right. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I don't know. I think we got to just shut it down. This might be the last episode of Hightop Sports. Look, man, it's cool to get that appreciation. Again, like I said, there was other people that were part of staff that came up to me that, like, I'm sitting there and they just came up and were like, hey, man, I love your show. And I was like, hey, man, appreciate it. What do you do? Like, we're on staff. And I don't want to put anybody out there like, hey, like, it was, like, that was nuts to me. Like, these guys are busy. But I'm sure that obviously they love watching their team from a fan perspective too. A couple of guys that work, like younger kids that work on there, they came by and said hi too. Like that stuff, man, is just it puts it all into perspective. It's a good humbling experience. It's a pleasure. I love doing this, and man, it's wild, boys. It's wild, boys. I got to tell you, it hasn't really hit me yet. It hasn't really sunk in. If I'm being honest with you, it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week to say the least. But to confirm that the Napier boys, at this point, Kirk, Billy, and I, we might have golf this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like 2 peas in a pod, 3 peas in a pod. Yeah, that's what we're doing around here. So, look, we're just getting started. We ain't going nowhere. Okay, we got a massive show weeks lined up here to rock and roll and to carry over this massive high from the spring game, from the championship, and from just how great this weekend was. If I forgot somebody, I'm going to make sure that I go back to my brain and remember. We'll be giving love and shout out to everybody. We've got a few hats and shirts left from the game. Thank you to everyone who bought a hat and a shirt. That means the world to me. It's cool to see, those hats there's only 24 made, and that's it. So if you got a hat, you're kind of in a rare area. I can't. Riker was the son, and I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Brandon, I think, and Sean? Maybe Tyler? I think. They'll know who I'm talking about. He had a Hightop hat on. I met him Friday. He had the original Hightop hat, and all those hats were sold in person. And I kind of remember all the faces that bought him for the most part. And he's at the Spurriers, and I go, how'd you get this hat? He's like, I beat you in Madden. was like, what? I don't lose, man. Uh, he goes, remember I had the Braves hat and you won my Braves hat? We made a deal. And I go, oh my goodness. Yes, I remember. So now he has both of those hats, which was really cool. He has two of the kind of, I would say, limited editions hats. I had to save my orange one, my orange and blue one, my own, because I don't have anymore. Like, it's rare for me. I mean, I could find them, person to make them again, but it's not as simple as sometimes things are, boys and girls. So I've been talking way too damn long. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I know that I did. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you the day after that. Y'all know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe, baby. Peace and love.